All right. I think we're all good. Again, welcome back to another one of whatever these are. I should just call them just chatting because that's what I call them. But at the same time, it's like that doesn't feel like a good name for any kind of series. I'm just literally talking here, um, for whatever it is that I'm feeling like talking about. Yeah. So hope you're doing fantastic this lovely Thursday. Not too much going on over here. Got the typical, well, the normal dog that we're taking care of, and then the Foster. She's very tired right now. Her ears just perked up when I said Foster, so I think she knows. Um, she's been running around peeing on the floor, mostly peeing on the floor. Sometimes she goes outside, but mostly she's just peeing on the floor. So that's a thing. That's usually fun. Not really. I don't have to deal with it too much. Sometimes I clean it up. Mostly just having Heather do it since she's the one who wanted to do Fosters. So yeah, she just gave me a thumbs up with her middle finger. Anyways, I'm kidding. She gave me a thumbs up actually. Just a really insincere smile at the same time. Anywho, things to talk about. I'd mentioned on Tuesday that I was pretty interested in a video that Hank Green put out. I didn't talk about it on Tuesday because I think I accidentally rambled about something else that I can't remember what it was. I think it was sick time. Okay. One of the things that he had tweeted recently was with any luck, the next generation will look at social media the way we look at cigarettes. And like, it got a lot of attention. And he's like, okay, so I made a tweet. It got a lot of attention. And I kind of like that. But at the same time, that tweet doesn't really get into the nuance that I want to get into here. He spends most of the video going over like comparing the almost kind of aesthetic of using social media to cigarettes, not necessarily saying that social saying it. I'm pretty sure what he's getting at is that the platforms are really kind of the core of the problem. That like he has like believes that social media can have good implications to it, that there are good feels to be had from it. But one of the things that stood with me there that made me kind of like take a step back, like one of the things that I've done recently is basically just stay off of Facebook entirely. I've turned off like all notifications for that other than like birthday notifications. And I think I have like very few Twitter notifications coming through on my phone. I rarely look at this stuff anymore because I didn't really like opening it and just getting a feel of dread as I'm looking through just people who I just generally disagree with talking about things. So like probably like not great, not seeing like the full view of people around me and just a general circles adjacent to mine and what they're thinking. Like it's probably a good thing to know, but at the same time it's like, do I need to every instant of my life? Probably not. But the way that he was describing these, like this good sensation, it still just sounded like a high to me. It was like, it was one of those things that's kind of like, yeah, your drug's bad and mine can be bad if it's used improperly, but when you use it properly, it's okay. And that just really resonates weird with me. Like, yeah, like the result, like of being exposed to an not uncontrolled, but we'll say uncontrolled for the sake of this, an uncontrolled amount of social media or a certain amount of a rush that you get from being in front of a lot of people and interacting with and influencing a lot of people very quickly, that feeling is the same kind of feeling that drugs would like have for you. So it's like I'm having this same type of euphoric experience doing social media, but at the same time having a platform that knows how to treat that social media better to give people the tools they have to regulate their experience could help them deal with it. But at the same time, that just sounds like if somebody said nicotine's okay, you just need a patch for it instead of smoking cigarettes. So it was a weird thing to hear, because I know I've heard that same idea, same thought process come out of people who were like, yeah, cocaine's bad, but like at least I'm not doing heroin or something. So it's like, you don't want like that. Dogs are barking and Heather's going shush shush shush, which was even more distracting than the dogs barking for some reason. But yeah, it was just kind of a weird. What are you woofing at? Well, you both got to go check it out now. It's very interesting over there. But it is kind of a weird sensation where it's like, I tend to agree with that social media is a way for people to interact with more people than they've ever had the capability of doing just in a physical space. How we deal with being around a lot of people or influencing a lot of people, there's a certain high associated with like giving a really good talk or being in front of people and doing a really good speech or something, and knowing that you had a good impact on a lot of people or they gave you a round of applause. Same thing happens for me when I'm like on stage. It feels really good playing music really well in front of a lot of people, and you get a lot of positive feedback from the people that you're in front of. But like being on the stage of tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of people who are like feeding into those dopamine receptors in your brain, it's like, would any platform be able to regulate that in a way that's healthy? Who knows? So that notion that what Hank does like talk about there is I think it was kind of a, never saying it directly, so I'm not going to say this is what he's saying, but really a feeling coming off of that video of, if only we had platforms that regulated the use of social media better, then social media wouldn't be as hurtful to humans as it is today. And like a part of me really wants to agree with that. Like, yes, the feeling that you get from being in front of a lot of people very quickly, and like it could be, you could say something just terribly wrong and it's getting a lot of likes, and you're just like, well, I'm not going to take it down because I really like all of this attention. That's bad. That's a poorly regulated platform, or at least a platform that allows a poorly regulated human to play in that space. But this idea that whatever the solution is that we come up with as a species, if social media doesn't go away, that like we don't just say like this, like what I said earlier, we just realize that there is no way for humans to deal with this that isn't akin to a drug. Then if there is a way to regulate that in a way where you don't ever get to that point, and you can regulate your social media experience and what kind of a rush you're getting from that platform, then wherever humans are, then Hank says next generation of people look back on how we used that power of social media and be like, yeah, that was horrible. Like, you all were doing really bad things there. Like, everyone was just on like some really bad trip, and it's good that somebody eventually reeled that in and got that under control. But yeah, it's kind of one of those weird things. I don't even think like as he was like going through like the description for that video, it's like, I don't even know what to do with all of this. It's such a weird question, because if just, it doesn't matter what the platform is, if the result of it being poorly regulated is somebody getting high off of like attention, that can happen regardless of however you're getting it. So maybe people just find platforms where that's all allowed, unless it just becomes regulated to a point where it's just like nobody likes that. That's super frowned upon. I mean, it happened with cigarettes. Like, that used to be cool. It used to be cool to like smoke. So it's like people did that not only for like whatever possible benefit they thought was coming out of that, but it just the the socialness around it was just like, yeah, you're not cool unless you're doing this these days. That's far from the truth. So yeah, if that might just be kind of how we're doing it now. It's like social media is cool and that'll just kind of go away at some point. And it's just like we all just end up like stepping away from it. But there's probably a lot of thinking about how we do interact with each other in a digital space that needs to be kind of thought out and reimagined as we move forward. Because yeah, right now it's a bit of a weird space. Yeah, I'm not sure I have much to really say there, except for that kind of one piece there. Like I anchored to it for like most of that video. It came in at like, I don't know, like a third of the way through. So I was just like, did Hank just say like, yeah, cigarettes are bad, but my drug ain't that bad, and if properly regulated, then it's fine. So like maybe that's just because I've heard that from people, but it was a very interesting thing. Like I just could not get my mind off of that comment in the video. Yeah, I think I do want to believe there's a good way to use that space. How it evolves will be interesting to see, to say the least. And hopefully no matter what's there, if anything on the other side of this, whoever comes after us will be like, yeah, this was all really stupid. Anyway, that's just some thoughts for me. That was a fun video. I'll link to that too, which is on the Hank's channel, which is a fun little place just to hear him kind of talk about some things that are either bothering him or working through. So it's kind of fun just to hear kind of what's going on there. Anyway, yeah, so I think that's about it here. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and we'll catch you tomorrow. See ya.